Hi, and good morning, everybody, and welcome to Mindset Monday. Super excited for another Monday and looking forward to an exciting week. I hope you are too. And today, well, let me recap a little bit. Last Friday, we talked about working with our sphere of influence, right? What's we known as working with our SOI. And we talked about the type of gifts we can send them, how to stay connected with them, and how building that core part of your business, which is working with past clients, can bring you so much more value to your business, so much more business that you can start doing today, especially during this real estate market that we know. And today, following that train of thought is how to tell your story, right? The idea is how can you connect with your audience? And you can do that by building your unique selling point. So do you know what makes you stand out from the crowd? What makes you you? So if you're unsure, it's time to find out and use your personal story to grow your real estate business. So let's talk about how to build your unique selling point as an agent and how that one unique selling point can make a huge difference in growing your business, especially in today's real estate market. You see, many times we hear someone talk about our selling point and we think to ourselves, what accomplishments do I have? Why would people look up to me? Why would they do that? But thinking this way is not beneficial, because if we do, we discredit our human side, our personal story and our struggles and what our passions and professional experience outside of real estate can do for our prospects. So today I want to share with you how you can build your unique selling proposition, how to share your story. And let's start by telling the truth and connecting with people. And before I go on, let me tell you a little bit about myself and where I come from and some of the struggles that I had and why real estate is good for me and why I made it be part of my life and how I came up to be involved in the real estate business. You see, like many of you, and you know what, do me a favor, type 1 in the chat if you come from immigrant parents or if you're an immigrant yourself. Type 1 in the chat. I just want to make sure that I relate with you. Let's see how many people type in number 1 in the chat. Just want to make sure you guys are awake, you're with me. If not, have a cup of coffee and join me today for Mindset Monday. So I see a few ones in the chat. Awesome. So now I can relate with you, you see, and you can relate with my story. I come from an immigrant family. I'm an immigrant myself. I came into the United States in 1995. So I was 12 years old at the time. So at that age already, you know the struggles and you know that everything you go through in our country, right? So when we came to this country, already we were struggling over there, but we were able to make it over here to the United States, the land of opportunities. And then I noticed firsthand what it's like to be able to have some kind of success, what we consider to reach the lower middle class. And that's my parents. And I saw that firsthand, how much difficulties they had to go through just to feed a family of 5, well, 6 at the time, because if we didn't have enough struggles, I decided to have one more kid, right? So we were 4 siblings. I'm the oldest of all 4. And I was my dad's right hand kid, because I had to help him in everything that I could, help around the house, help my mom, because they had to work double shift. They had to work a lot just to put food on the table. And one thing I noticed is how easy it is to just trade time for money. So making it to let's say a class in this country, you have to trade a lot of time for money to be able to enjoy things that some things in life, or to provide some kind of like a normal living to your kids. And I promised myself when I grow up, I didn't want to see the same struggle. I didn't want to trade time for money. I want to build something. And at a very young age, they're telling me you have to work hard in this country to be somebody. You have to go to school, get a degree. How many of you, your parents told you the same thing? Go to school, get a degree. And although to be able to succeed, and although some of that is true, they don't tell you the other side of the story, right? How much debt are you gonna get into just to get that diploma? How much debt you have to, how much struggle you have to go through just to make it to corporate world, corporate America. And those are some of the difficulties. And I did that. I went to school, I got a degree, and I started working with the county. I work in the engineering department. I became a drafter. I did a lot of things, tried to move up, but it wasn't me. You see, I couldn't relate to that type of lifestyle. My mind, I could still see my dad working 2 or 3 jobs just to put food on the table for us, and that's not what I wanted for me, right? I wanted something more. I wanted to be able to enjoy other things. We were to buy a house. That was like our accomplishment. My dad was able to buy a house, but then that means you had to work more to be able to afford paying the bills that comes with the property, right? So those are the things that I started seeing at a young age, and I'm like, that's not what I wanted to do. And I was introduced then to real estate, and then real estate, I saw the potential of how real estate can definitely help you grow in this business if you put in the time, of course. If you commit to it, if you put in the time and you connect with the right company, how quick you can grow. Now your dreams can come true. A lot of things can come together, but applying the things that I was able to learn. And and maybe you're thinking to yourself, well, what or how in the world discussing my former job will help me be a better agent? Well, the answer is that it connects your human side and your story to what you're doing. And that helps people relate to you. You see, I ask you how many of you come from an immigrant family, or you're an immigrant yourself, and you put ones in the chat. Thank you for that. But we're already connecting at some level, right? Because the thing is that nobody wants a perfect, shiny story from an agent about how they're the best and the most awesome that you ever hire them. So when you share a struggle or a true struggle, it speaks to people. Why is that a benefit? Well, because it builds trust and rapport. And as you and I know, trust and rapport is at an all-time low in the real estate industry, because there's so many shortcuts and hacks to try to get listing that unfortunately it degrades that side of that relationship side of the business. So I would highly encourage you, as you're building your profile online and you publishing your professional bio, wherever you happen to use it, tell the true story of how you got into the real estate business, right? And if you download my book, or if you haven't by any chance, this book right here, it's a section here that talks about my story completely. I won't pretty much, but it tells the story where I came from and stuff like that. The idea with this is to be able to connect with you. So ask yourself these questions when you're trying to build that profile and put it together. Ask yourself these questions. Why did you choose real estate? What did you do before real estate? What were some of the struggles that you initially faced as an agent? And what did your previous profession or previous goals teach you about real estate? And what are your desires and your goal in the real estate business? See, so this is some of the questions that you can ask yourself when you're putting that profile together, when you're trying to put your story together. But one thing you have to avoid is to use empty phrases in your story, because many agents will use empty phrases, and I'm sure you heard of them. It's such as, I make dreams come true. But does that really tell people that you're going to be a good real estate agent? What dreams? Why? It's too general. This is also the case when you hear something like, I make buying a house a reality. Like, who wants a genie? Who claims to have magic dust and make stuff happen out of nowhere? You're an agent, right? So you have to put your story together that says more about you. So when the time comes to build your story, I encourage you to include your personal struggle. As a bonus, this likely will help you your rankings online too, because people will read your story. And if you can get someone to read your story and at the same time see your value and want to hire you, your leaps and bounds above all the other competing agents with the shiny business networking pages, just listing their accolades or accomplishments or business experience. Your story means more to them. You can connect with them at another level. That formula, the shiny agent, here's my accomplishments. That formula no longer works. There are too many people using it. Instead, agents who have the story and who are connecting with their audience get more business. And best of all, they also develop a following. They build what's called a tribe. And the tribe is where the repeat business comes from. When someone asks, hey, do you know a great real estate agent? Guess who's going to come to mind? It's you. They're going to prompt them to think of you and your story and how they connected with you emotionally right away. So that means that they're going to say, yes, of course, I know somebody. I know Joe, I know Mary. He's or she's a great real estate agent. They're the best. They may even say something like, I haven't worked with them personally yet, but I've heard so much about them or about him or about her. I heard he or she is the best. And guess what? That's called a referral. So the point is growing your sphere of influence to include people that you haven't even worked with yet. It's important because those people will promote you too. And the secret is this: build your story, make it personable, and have it deliver value. So that's the idea following what we did on last Real Estate Friday, is working with your SOI, making that part of your business your core value in your business. Connect with your people, and they buy into you, not because you're the agent with the best track record. They're buying into you because your story. They're connected already with you at an emotional level. So build your story so that way people can connect with you. People that you haven't even met yet, they can connect with you at an emotional level. So when it's time to get to know them, guess what? They know you first because you told your story. Think about your friend, your family. They know your story, so they're connected with you. In our relevant realtor trainings that we have done in the past, Amanda talks about this, why working with the SOI is so important, because how much business can come from that source, right, Amanda?
That is correct. That's correct.
We should do another relevant realtor training.
Relevant agent, we call it
relevant agent. That's correct. We should do another one.
Can I add something, Dylan?
Yes, please go ahead.
Okay. What I've seen from another agent, she's not with us, she's another company. She's an immigrant too, but what I see in her social media that she includes, like, I'm a single mom, I have a son, I'm an immigrant, in all of her posts. And she also posts about, relevant things. And she doesn't just tell the story when it's time to sell, maybe in listing presentation, but she kind of includes, so it feels more personable. So you kind of feel you know her and you can ask her something, so just wanted to say that.
And that is very true right there. She's telling her struggles, she's telling her story. People are connecting with her. They're already having an experience even before working with her at a business level. You probably heard this expression before. People like to do business, or people like to work with people they know, right? So if you tell your story, people are getting to know you. You don't necessarily need to know them, but they need to know you so that they can do business with you. And isn't that great?
Yeah, if I could just make a few comments to that. I mean, absolutely. I'm also somebody that came from an immigrant family, and I'm one that when I was young, I didn't want to go to school. So I'm not your Harvard graduate. I cut grass, I painted houses, I put tile on floor. I've done everything pretty much when it comes to, because I really didn't know what I wanted. And finally, when I became a realtor, I in '89, I realized that, my dad was somebody who knew everybody. And he walked in a place and everybody knew he was a doctor. And so he had this ability of meeting people and just becoming, he would light up a room. And I learned really quick that was the way that I can grow my business, was to expand my network. And I mean, you can expand your network and you can have all the best intentions, but you need to be good at what you do. And you need to, like what you said, you need to become a brand and also label yourself. Like today, most of the business that I get is referral, and I'm known like the guy who negotiates. Get Armando, he's going to negotiate a great deal. Get Armando, he'll get your listing, he'll sell it for the top. So I'm like the negotiator, you know, I'm like the guy who you know, and this is amongst my sphere. That's what they say, you know. So, and when I get somebody that comes in from outside my sphere, you know, obviously there has to be chemistry and they got to be somebody that I like and stuff like that. I work towards becoming really, you know, close to that person, becoming a friend and really doing what I need to do as an agent. And it happens that, you know, some of these clients that I've met through Zillow and through any other source of marketing that a couple of years ago I didn't know, today are one of my best friends. And today is people that continue and they refer me business. And that's really how you have to grow your in real estate. You know, a lot of agents are just out there just to get the commission, close, and that's it. And what you got to do is you got to think past that. You got to think that you're planting a seed every time that you do a deal. You planted a seed there. Now, whether that tree is going to bloom, it's going to grow, it's up to you, and it's up to the relationship, or it can just die. So if you want to do is you want to keep growing that. You want to create, you know, it's hard to always have to be marketing and looking for business. You know, it's great when business just comes to you, you know.
Yep.
And so you know, I'm making here your story. You know, the guy who's a negotiator, the guy who goes, you know, all the way through. The other thing is a lot of agents fail in the transaction. You know, they make a deal, they sign the contract, and then they kind of like just wait for the whole process to go through and then get their check. And at the end of the day, was your role really, you know, did they need you? Or were you engaged in the whole transaction? Were you involved in the whole transaction? Were you, you know, making sure that things were done right there in the inspection, advising your client that at the end they're saying, oh my God, Daylan, I have to use Daylan next time. I have to refer my guy because he was amazing. Yeah. So that's where you're going to make the impression. And that's why, you know, you're going to do your job. So if you're good at what you do, you're going to have a great sphere and you're going to have a lot of referrals. If you're not good at what you do, if you don't want to, you know, go the extra mile, if you don't want to be engaged, then you're going to have problems growing that brand. It doesn't matter what story you give. Once they use you, they're not going to refer you. So the important thing is to realize that every person you come in contact with, whether it's a rental, whether it's a sale, that is a tree, a seed that you're planting, and that can grow to many things, which is what we talk about in the Relevant Agent, Relevant Realtor. You know, we talk about building that. You know, and it starts somewhere. A lot of agents, oh yeah, you get a lot of referrals because you've been doing this for 32 years. Yeah, well, what are you going to do? You have to start yours too. Yeah, I have a lot of sphere from 32 years, but I've only been selling real estate since 2016, you know, when it comes to recent times, you know. Yeah, that's my 2 cents.
No, and that's very true. You see, Armando made a great point in this sense. Some of us don't have a very influenced family member or you know, it doesn't matter how big or the database of people that we know is. You can have 5 people, you can have hundreds of people in your list of people that you actually know. It's starting, you need to start somewhere. And sometimes agents go, oh, well, I'm gonna go into buying leads, but they neglect completely building their database of people that they know, putting some love to these people, building that relationship. And that's fine. Getting leads, buying some leads, that's okay. But look at it the same way that Amanda just explained. Can I become a friend with these people? If I get to work with any of these leads, my goal is to become build a friendship. There it is. That's Nino. So building a friendship with these people, because they're gonna start, you know, referring you business. They're gonna read your story. They're gonna relate to you, and even if they don't close a deal with you, guess what? They're gonna refer you to somebody else. You know. So, yes, Masha, you're gonna say something.
Yes, I mean, I come from a different company, and I think what we have here with Chime, it's magic. I just maybe, I don't know, I have not been here for the last month, but I believe that if we had more classes about the touches that we need to do from the moment when you meet that client from Zillow, how to put it in, what kind of touches to make them that kind of a friend that Armando was telling, because this is the magical machine that's going to help us. I don't know if we could consider maybe like a class a week just about staying in touch with your SOI. so everybody can be more in touch with them.
Absolutely. In fact, Steve, are you doing something like every once a week, or are you doing like a small classes?
Yes, we do. Masha, make sure you reach out to me afterwards.
Okay,
and
I will. Yeah,
and,
I've been out for a month, so I'm sorry.
And to answer your
I might
question,
not be up to date.
Right. We used to do a lot, once or even twice a week, chime and marketing and social media training. We sort of moved that to more smaller group training that I do with individual small groups. So make sure you get in one of those groups. And this is a great segue for me to sort of pitch that. If any of you out there want to get more training on Chime and social media and some marketing and how to reach your SOI, how to use these tools that we have at Broker Nation to continue to build the relationships with your existing SOI, reach out to me and Daylon, and we'll make sure that we get you into one of the small group trainings.
Awesome. One last, I want to share a quick success story. Somebody's working with us. He's the office manager for the Doral office, working pretty much real estate part-time, yet he was able to close last month 6 transactions, all based, well, Ray, tell your story.
Yeah, I've been doing this for a while as well, but that's the one tip. What Armando was saying falls into that too. I wish when I had first started, people told me save every phone number and every email address, but that's not enough. You got to reach out to people. You got to be a friend to them, and just go through your Rolodex and call people. That's gonna set you apart. Not all these realtors that have their, their great Instagrams, if they're not reaching out to people, if they're not making personal connections, yeah, they'll get a like, but they're not gonna get a phone call when it comes time to sell their house.
Yeah. So if you're not familiar with our own story, I encourage you to go to joinbrokernation.net. In there, you're gonna see about us, where we come from, Armando's story. You're gonna see the company story, how it was built, and most important, how it can help you do this kind of business, build a referral network, build a business within the business, how you can grow and have something that you can look back and be happy, building like a legacy through Broker Nation. So that is joinbrokernation.net. Read the story, get familiar with it, because our story is your story. And with that said, friends, thank you so much for joining us today. Stay tuned for our next trainings. And what do they go, Steve, to sign up for our next training?
I'm glad you asked. Remember, it's always www.brokernation.events. So instead of .com, Daylon, it's .events at the end. So just remember our Broker Nation and then .events instead of .com. I always post the latest and greatest events that are coming up. Not only our Mondays and Fridays that happen every week, but also our internal trainings, our internal meetings, public meetings. We had last week some really great events that we put together. And Daylon, are we going to be maybe rebooting those? I get a lot of requests for, we had Investing 101, we had CMA training, Coffee and Comps with Ray, and we had some great marketing and lending information from Freedom Mortgage, right?
Yeah, so we're going to be doing these trainings again. We're revising the content and everything that we did based on by people's requests, and we're going to be putting it very soon. So if you want to stay tuned to when we're going to launch these trainings again, please go to brokernation.events, like Steve said, and register, because you're going to get a reminder of the next training that's coming up. Okay. All right, guys. Thank you so much for joining us today. Happy Monday. Have an exciting week, and I'll see you on our next training. Take care, everybody.
Take care, Daylon. Thank you.
Thanks everyone for joining us. I ask everyone to unmute and just wave goodbye. It's on gallery view, and just tell everyone have a great week and happy Monday.
Have a nice week.
Thank you.
Happy Monday.
Thanks for joining us, everyone. Hi, Esther.
Bye-bye. Thank you.